Welcome fans and friends, we're back in Bob's Barn Workshop today. We have all of the carcasses and face frames made for 4 of the 5 base cabinets. Actually the base cabinets for where the countertops are going by the sink and stove, they're all done. That's the corner cabinet I had to cut in pieces. This is the one that goes past the stove in by the refrigerator. That's the center island. There's the drawer unit that goes beside the stove at the end of this cabinet here. What we have left to build, which we only have one thing left to build, is the snack bar cabinet. Now there's a window over there where the snack bar is going to go. So I have come to the conclusion that it can only be, the carcass can only be 28.5 inches high. And I think I'm going to make it 28. So it's just a little bit below the windowsill. We'll just put some sort of corner bead or something in there, I don't know. And my dilemma is whether to make this 2 30-inch cabinets or make it one long piece. I'm tempted to do one long piece, just because I want to. I'm going to have to do some routering with my router and a 3/4 inch bit to get some dados in there where I need them without using the dado blade on this, but that will be fine. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting my 2 pieces for the ends, and I'll cut, that'll leave whatever I need left for these pardon me. We'll cut that out. Oh, sorry. We'll cut these ends out, just 2 of them, because this will be flat through here, all one piece, and then there'll just be a web in the middle. There'll be a dado in that and a dado in that for the shelf. And we'll go from here. Of course, I need a 16-inch piece there for the toe kick. I got some long pieces. Oh, I got some long pieces left. If I got enough to make the face frame? I don't think so. I'm going to have to run over and get some wood for the face frame. But that doesn't even have to be on to get it installed, you know. It'd be nice to have the face frame in, but I'm going to need... There's some filler I need for the other cabinet. There's some stuff I can use for veneering the shelf edges. Oh my goodness, there's a bunch of it. Look at that stuff. That looks like veneer. All right, we'll get to it. Well, all right. Yeah, I don't know what happened. You remember that cutoff jig I made for cutting a square cut on plywood back a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, whatever? I had a video on it. I can't find it. I don't know where it could possibly be in this shop where it's hiding, but it's tucked behind something. I can't see it. My eyes are looking through it. So I've got an old cutoff jig. It just doesn't have, it isn't self-squaring. So this is the same thing right here, which I have some screws in it, which, you know what, I can put the screws in because this plywood isn't going to be seen on the rough side, and this is the rough side. So I'll cut it from the rough side, 28.5. That was my measurement, 28.5. And I'll just use a square. I'll check it from the other side, the square to square. It's pretty good to me. Now this guy will cut right on that line, so I'm going to line up. I'm just going to be able to get 2 screws in it, so that's okay. I'll get this one in here. These are them old-fashioned Phillips. Old-fashioned Phillips screws in there. think I built this way back when I was building this barn to cut trusses and stuff with square. These I got 14-inch things, floor joists that were like wooden I-beam type construction. So they have a web of dimensional pine on the top and bottom, and then a web of OSB in the middle. All right. Now notice how I did this. I made sure that I've got blocks under here. I didn't cut deep enough. Idiot! I didn't even check. I didn't want to cut all the way through. Anyway, there's blocks underneath here, 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 and there. So nothing shifts when it comes loose. But we don't want it to pinch and kick back. So that's it. I'm going to cut the other one off the other board, because what's going to happen is I can't take both of them off one piece of my plywood here, or else it'll be too short. So I'm going to take one off from each piece, and then these will be what's the remaining pieces. I'll cut my bottom shelf and my top frame part out of it. I want the top frame to be solid plywood just because we're putting on stone. You don't want that to we want to have a good solid connection, you know. When it sits on there. So we'll come back when I cut this one. Just one quick note to make sure your pieces are identical, because that's what really matters. I'm lining this up with the bottom and the top. And then I'll make sure my line is tight. I can see just a smidge of wood, so I'm going to, when I line up my jig, I'm going to make sure it lines up with the same amount of reveal under there. Whoops, duh. I'll put it on backwards, so that way I'll have the same amount of error, and it'll be so close that it just ain't going to matter. I decided to make this a total of 66 inches. So that there we go. Watch it one more time. What the hell, right? Gotta pull the blade guard up though. I'm watching the fence, the shoe ride against this fence. I'm not watching the blade. So as I came across, instead of just pushing straight ahead, I was pushing it like a diagonal angle like this to keep that fence as tight as I possibly could. All right, I've already got my dado blade in. I tested the width with the shims that I have. It's perfect. I just set the fence. Now with this dado blade, you can't set the fence with the miter gauge setting here, or the tape. You have to actually measure it. So it's 3 inches out to the edge of the first tooth. We're going to run those dados across the bottom of our shelves. inside, dust collector's on. Fight against the fence. Go slow, let the blade do its work. Make sure you go all the way off the back of the blade. Good enough for the girls I dance with. So the clamps are coming back off today. Today is the day we need to put 2 coats of finish on this. So I got to get started because it's afternoon already. I'll be out here tonight. But I promised my wife I'd get 2 coats on them. So I need to do a little sanding, a little scraping. I'll get this baby. She's all glued up and solid now. Boy, that really bowed there. It is what it is. I should have lined that up better, but this part is so bendy. Had a little warp to it. That's alright, the doors are all going to cover it. Hey, I told you these are lake cabinets for myself. I answer to nobody but me. Alright, so let's get to... I'm going to just scrape this glue. I'm going to sand. I've got the powered random orbit. I'm going to go over it. The inside doesn't really need a lot of sanding. It's actually quite smooth. It's already been pre-sanded because it is sanded plywood. The pine, which was just rough cut, not rough cut, but number 2 pine, knotty pine at the store, needs to be sanded a little bit. And I always hit the edges with the edge of the sander so you don't like cut your knuckles or something if you bang into it. I hate that. My cabinets that I got in my kitchen right now are so sharp that every time you bang onto them you get a cut. Alright guys and gals, we have the first coat of finish, and that is the snack bar base cabinet. That over there is the drawer cabinet. This is half of the sink cabinet. This is the between the stove and the refrigerator cabinet, which is going to have the sliding door. So this is really pretty much going to be covered up. I could put a piece of plywood in there. Here's the piece I forgot to take and put in. That's the base island cabinet here. Other half of the sink base cabinet. Alright, hopefully these are going to dry up enough that I can give them another quick coat tonight. And then we're going to throw them in the trailer and take them to the lake because we got to go to the lake tomorrow. I can finish another coat on the face frame at the lake. I'd really like to get the drawer slides in this cabinet. Be a lot easier to lay it on its side, but I can do that with the finish on it. Alright guys, now another project. We're going out and start working on, we are finishing up the project on the van power steering system.